Welcome back to another video report on the news from EICMA, and this time I'm going to be concentrating on electric two-wheelers. Actually, before I get into it, if you do hear some background noise that sounds a little bit like, I don't know, like static, it's because it's raining cats and dogs, has been doing all day, so it might sound a little bit like, say, static. It's the rain falling on the roof of the motorhome. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad. Right, given all the clamouring we've had for all things electric over the past few years, there was actually less of this new generation of propulsion hogging the limelight than I had anticipated, but there was still a fair amount going on. Some of it happening right now and some of it more wishful thinking than real world practical, at least for the moment. I might as well start at the top, so to speak, with the longest established and biggest player in the electric bike business, and that is of course Zero Motorcycles. Nothing major in terms of news from the American manufacturer, but they already have an extensive array of models, the latest and most expensive of which is the 2023 DS RX, which is an electric adventure touring model. Yes, Energica may well be grabbing the electric headlines for plug-in adventure models at the moment, but Zero got here first, and this latest example of what they can do offers up some impressive specs. I'll get into those further in just a second, but first I want to point out that this isn't simply a taller version of its more road-oriented DSR that you can see here. There's a lot more than that has gone into this latest model to make it a viable option for heading off down the odd trail or two. And I also want to mention its looks that undoubtedly mark it out as a Zero, but also lend it a certain air of rugged charm that hasn't previously been a Zero trait. The more I looked, the more I liked it, and even in the hot and crowded arena of an international expo, the build quality seemed noticeably improved over Zeros I've ridden before, admittedly a good couple of years ago now. This is the most adventure-capable model that Zero has produced to date, and it's the first electric off-roader to feature Bosch's dirt-focused stability control system. It also comes with a new range of faster recharging options and increased battery capacity. There's a new electric motor as well that develops a rather impressive 225 Newton meters of torque, and although range is only ever to be believed whether it's quoted for electric bikes or those still guzzling petrol, once you've tested it yourself, Zero is quoting the 17.3 kilowatt hour battery being good for 290 city kilometres, 140 k's if you sit on the motorway at a constant 120 k's an hour, or the combined range is just shy of 190 kilometres. That is extendable by 20% with the optional power tank, but that takes up space and adds weight in the storage area high up on the bike where the traditional fuel tank would sit. It's not cheap at around about 27,000 euros, I think it is, or somewhere in the region of 490,000 rand, but it certainly stands out from the crowd. And if you don't want to get it dirty, then it should make, as many adventure bikes actually do, a great tar-only touring machine. I'll definitely be trying to get myself a ride on this model in the coming months. I am suitably intrigued by its potential, as I am with the abilities of its closest competitor, the slightly more expensive Italian manufactured Energica Xperia. This model was actually launched to the world earlier this year. We featured it in the news before, so there wasn't really anything in particular new to see other than a couple of colour options for 2023. The big news, though, concerned the rest of Energica's range that all received updates to bring them into line with the Xperia in terms of their performance. Redesigned electric motor means an increase in both torque and range for the SS9 Plus, the Ego Plus and the Eva Rebel. All three of these models now have claimed city riding ranges of 420 kilometres, 250 kilometres for the combined city and highway, and 200 kilometres for just the highway blast. Charging has also been improved so that with a DC fast charger you can now go from empty to 80% in a little under 40 minutes. Just like the Zero, I'll be doing my very best to bring you a test of at least some of these models over the coming year. I'd like to say the same thing about this next bike as well, but they simply wouldn't be true, because Kymco's concept electric performance bikes currently have no firm timeline for heading into production. In fact, there really isn't much information available at all about the Super Nex, which is the blue sport bike looking model, or the Revo Nex, that is its white naked equivalent. Before you ask, the eye-catching honeycomb design of the bodywork isn't just for looks, it also apparently helps with the cooling of the batteries. We have seen these concepts previously, but they are in updated form here, with new details like wings that incorporate indicators and what look like working brakes and suspension, and even a gear lever, which isn't that usual for an electric bike. There are even lights and number plate holders, so in theory they could be, on the surface at least, not too far away from being road legal and ready to roll. There again, it could all be smoke and mirrors from the Taiwanese company, although to be fair, Kymco does have a pretty good reputation for making things happen in the world of electric scooters, so maybe it really is on the cusp of doing the same with these inspiring looking bikes. And then, as a final nod to the world of electricity and two wheels, take a look at this creation from Horwin, a company that is part Chinese, part Austrian, and judging by this flashing monstrosity, also part prop builder for movies and part LSD munching visionaries on an extended bender. This is the Senmenti X concept, so I won't be getting a test ride on this anytime soon, but this Senmenti Zero is now available for pre-order, so the likelihood of riding it seems somewhat more realistic. Having said that though, some of the claims for this scooter seem, how can I put it? Let me remain polite and say hard to believe. It does pack a sizable 16.2 kilowatt hour battery pack, so it's claiming a range of 300 kilometers and a recharge time of just 30 minutes with its supercharging capabilities. Those claims go further with a quoted top speed of 200 k's an hour, which is pretty spot on for a big scooter, a 0 to 100 kilometer an hour time of 2.7 seconds, superbike territory, and a scarcely believable torque figure of 600 Newton meters. I don't know how all these different companies are measuring their torque outputs, but when Zero gets a little bit giddy about its 225 Newton meters and Energica seems pretty chuffed with 115 Newton meters, it seems bizarre, or should that be bullshit, that this scooter pumps out 600 Newton meters. On top of that, there is also, apparently, an absolute space shuttle full of electronic systems, including normal stuff like keyless start, hill start assist, reverse assist, an adjustable screen, and remote tyre pressure monitoring. But there's more. Front and rear facing radar for collision and blind spot warning. Okay. And with over 30 sensors on the scooter, including, it seems, intelligent cameras, all the data it collects will be chewed over by what it calls deep learning processors to help riders have the smoothest, safest riding experience possible. Confident that they are building the world's most advanced scooter, I couldn't actually get anyone to tell me when the pre-orders might actually be delivered, so I don't think I'll be riding one anytime soon. But I would like a shot of whatever it is they're taking at Horwin HQ. Bound to be some psychedelic good fun. That's it for my quick look at some of the electric news at EICMA. Please check out some of our other videos from the event, or maybe search for a road test or other biking features. There's plenty to see here on the Bike Show channel. In the meantime, I'm going to lick me some of these local Italian toads and see if I can't design myself an electric motorhome with wings and a hot tub. You'll be able to pre-order it next week with a hefty deposit, of course. Cheers for now.